Cleveland reopened their facility for practice on Wednesday afternoon after closing it earlier in the day to conduct contact tracing. What's the latest there?
Ryan, problematic. It reopened yesterday afternoon, as you mentioned, and now they will go and see if it's spread. But I think the tests last night would be key to see if there's further spread. Now, we go back to this past weekend. The Browns' entire wide receiver unit was essentially wiped out, and they headed to New York for a big game against the Jets where they didn't have their wide receivers that they needed. Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rashard Higgins, Carter L. Hodge. So they were missing some key players. Now, yesterday, there were more positive tests that turned up. And so they're hoping that the virus has been contained, but they should get further clarity as the week goes on. And wouldn't that be something to go through an entire NFL season without a single cancellation, only to have its playoff schedule on the final weekend of the season be disrupted somehow with the events in Cleveland? The Browns are hoping that's not the case. The NFL is hoping that's not the case. But I can tell you that everybody is closely monitoring the events in Cleveland as they're unfolding now.
And Adam, with last week and now what's happening, now I have to think the concern level's pretty high there.
Oh, there's no question, Ryan. Listen, the NFL's come really far. And the last thing the league and the Browns want, especially when the Browns are on the cusp of their first playoff appearance in almost 2 decades, is to have something spoil it at the end. And again, they're trying to see if this is contained. We should have further answers the rest of this week.
All right, Louis, I want to turn to you. Louis Neek joining us now. All right, so Big Ben out on Sunday. What are your thoughts on this being a must-win for Baker and the Browns?
Oh, look, this is games that they have had in years because their playoff life hangs in the balance and they can control their own destiny with a win here. And when you look at it this, without Ben Roethlisberger playing in this football game, the last thing that this team wants to do, provided that they are able to have their full complement or something close to their full complement of wide receivers, is to lose a game with a lot on the line. This is exactly what people are looking for from the Browns, for them to win the big games when it matters the most, when there's a lot at stake. The last time I saw them in person, obviously, was that game against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football, and they came up just short. But people thought, and I thought, that they had turned the corner at that point, that they understood that now it really has shifted from hope to expectations. People expect this football team to be good. So if Jarvis Landry is able to play, Kadero Hodge is able to play, Rashard Higgins is able to play, Donovan Peoples-Jones is able to play, Jedrick Wills are starting. He's practicing. Wyatt Teller, one of their best offensive linemen, he's practicing. If they're at full strength, I expect them to win this football game and would be very disappointed. I think a lot of people would be let down if they don't, considering everything that's on the line.
Yeah, and you talk about going from hope to expectations. That's all shifted in a matter of weeks, if not just this season. So, Neek, let's say they're at full strength. What do they need to do in order to win this game?
Well, I mean, I think it's obvious. There's no secret that the Cleveland Browns offense is predicated on how well they run the ball. So they need to get back to doing that. It's not a very modern way to think about football, but a lot of the best offenses, especially when you have a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who is very, very good when things are going well and not so good when when there's too much pressure on them. I think it's important to establish that running attack, build the play action off of it, and let Baker get comfortable because you're probably going to need him in late stretches in the game. Even though the Steelers are not putting their best effort out there necessarily and not putting their best players out there and probably aren't even game planning to the degree that they would if this was a must-win game like it is for the Browns, you're still going to get the Steelers. And the Steelers are still going to play hard. They still have a lot of great talent on offense and defense. So Baker's going to have to make some plays late in the game. You just don't want to ask him to make too many early in the game.
Adam, I see you chomping at the bit. Jump back in.
Well, what's interesting here is that as difficult a situation as this is for the Cleveland Browns, the Browns couldn't ask for any better timing on the schedule. The NFL basically gift-wrapped it to them for the holidays. Jets last week, and they couldn't capitalize. And the Pittsburgh Steelers at the absolute right time when the Steelers haven't gotten a bye this year due to the COVID crisis, and they had to basically go through their season without getting the bye they wanted, and will basically use this game as an unofficial bye to rest players like Ben Roethlisberger and some of their other players. And so if you're the Cleveland Browns and ever need to play the Pittsburgh Steelers and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the time and this is the week to do it. They're trying to make it easy for Cleveland.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.